1017 FM, 710 Keel, and the Keel app. It's a free download. Robert J. Wright and Aaron McCarty joining us for a bit is former Mayor Keith Hightower. Mr. Keith, how are you this morning? Thank you for taking time for us.
Good, Robert. How are you?
Well, I'm looking at a recent Times headline, former Shreveport mayor assisted plaintiffs in water billing events. That is causing a bit of an uproar around town this morning. Where shall we begin with this, Miss Aaron?
You gave them your water bill. You're suspected of possibly taking part of the kickbacks. Keith, what's going on with all this? Can you help us unravel it?
First of all, yeah, I was happy to help. To help the citizens get their water bills corrected and right. I mean, every 30 days, all of us get a water bill, and over the past several years, they've been wrong. And I don't know about you, but I want to feel confident in the bill that I get. And when the mayor says that she can't assure the citizens that the bills are accurate, something has to be done. So did I give them a water bill? Absolutely, I did, and I hope they get to the bottom of it.
Were you in line to get any of the money from what some would call a finder's fee?
That's absolutely a fabrication to sell newspapers, I guess. No, absolutely not. Never talked about that. Never involved in that. No, absolutely not.
According to the Times article, Justin Haydell from Manchac, I believe, says he was to get 30% of the monies involved. Attorney Charles Grubb 25%, the remaining 45% split among Pernice, Wainwright, and Hightower, meaning Scott Pernice and Michael Wainwright. You say that's just totally off the mark. You say that ain't what happened at all.
If it was, I never knew about it. So no, I didn't know I was in line to get any kind of any payments for doing what I think is the right thing to do. No.
But Keith, we're talking to former Mayor Keith Hightower. You did write an email, according to the Times article, says from Keith Hightower. I'm not sure to who.
That's correct.
With regard to the revenue enhancement contract, telling them it should be no longer than 3 years. Why were you even involved? Why are you telling them how to negotiate this with the city?
They came to me and asked. And again, I get a water bill every 30 days. And apparently, the city doesn't want to do anything to correct it. And and even currently, it's been almost 2 years, and the water bills are still wrong. And the mayor admits they're wrong. I just can't understand, why they can't be corrected. There was going to be an audit done to see if what Pernice and Wainwright were saying was true in in October of 16. I'm sorry. And, that still hadn't been started, as from what I'm being told, it hadn't been started, and it takes a year to do it. So I guess in 2019, after we've all received a bill every 30 days that's wrong, it may be corrected. I don't know. That's the real story, is why aren't the bills fixed?
Just to simplify, in my mind and everybody, you have a long-standing relationship with both Mr. Wainwright and Mr. Pernice. I think that's fair. I beg your pardon?
A lifetime, yeah.
They approached you and said, Mr. Keith, we've known you a long time. You are the mayor. We think you can help us with the city's problem. Is that basically it?
They came to me and they asked me for my water bill. I gave it to them. They told me that they had discovered a pattern of wrong billing and were going to approach the city. What did I think the best way to do that was? I actually hooked them up with Manchac. Told him that, he was an expert. In my years at City Hall, he was an expert in the water and sewer business, and he'd be a great person to talk to.
But, Keith, here's my question. If I find out the city is underbilling and they're not charging me the right thing, I call them and say, hey, you're not charging the right thing. I don't ask them to give me a kickback or a piece of it before I want to share the information. That's where I have a problem with this. Why were they wanting this revenue enhancement? Why weren't they being good citizens and saying, hey, you got a billing error, fix it?
Well, you need to ask them about that. That's their deal. I'm not getting anything from it, never was getting anything from it. So, but I want my water bill corrected, I think, like the rest of the citizens do.
Ms.
When we have $10 million in water meters purchased that aren't being used, something's wrong down there, and it needs to be corrected. And when it's brought to their attention, it should be corrected, and it hasn't been to date that I'm aware of.
Ms. Talama, who wrote the article for the Times, did she approach you at all, or to the best of your knowledge, Wainwright or Pernice about to comment in her article?
Yeah, she called me.
And you told her basically what you're telling us?
Yes.
Do you feel like she expressed that you got a fair shake in the article?
No, I don't. Not really.
What could you have done differently in all of this? What should you, as a former mayor, should have done differently?
I'm not sure I should have done anything differently. I mean, those guys approached the city, and in my mind, if I were sitting up there, I would have taken it seriously and tried to do something. If there were a problem, I would have tried to remedy it, by whatever means necessary. And that obviously hadn't happened. There were all water bills that are incorrect this month.
As you're looking at the Times article, as you're looking at some of the other things that have been written in the aftermath of that article, are you looking at it and looking at some of the things that are you kind of baffled by it all?
I don't know that I'm baffled by it all. I mean, you can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. And, there's probably someone out there that's happy to be paying more on their water bill than they should. I don't know. All I want is, like I said, I was happy to help and hopefully straighten out the water billing debacle at City Hall. And, so far it hadn't seemed to help.
Are you a little mystified about why they were asking for a piece of the action? I mean, have you asked them about that? Did that cause this all to blow up?
I don't think it's unusual, to be honest with you. I mean, the people approached us at City Hall, approach me in business constantly, and say, we want to come in and consult, and we think we can save you some money and show you some efficiencies and correct some things that you may not be doing the right way and save your company money. And as a result of that, we want to take, a percentage of your savings. So that's not unusual. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of businesses that do that, and that's what they do for a living, period.
You had said earlier on you have a lifetime relationship with both, I know, Pernice and Wainwright, that you've been friends for a long time. Do you think has this damaged your relationship with them? Has this strained the relationship?
No. My friends are my friends. I don't back up from that. I think you support friends, and that's what I do. That's why I helped them.
There's in the article in the Times, there's mention of your conversation with Miss Pilkington and a recorded telephone call you made with her. Kind of gets you more deeply embedded into this. Is that something you should not have done?
Oh, I don't know that I should or shouldn't have done it. Sharon had been put on leave, essentially laid off, without pay by the city. I felt like apparently looking for a scapegoat in this whole debacle. And I did call her, and I did ask her some questions to try to get to the bottom of it. I'm glad she got her job back. I don't think she'd have ever been laid off in the first place.
Do you think that Shreveport at the end of the day would be better served with a privatized water system, privatized water department?
No, I don't think that. I just think that the contracts that we put in place ought to be contractors that are held accountable for what they're supposed to do. And in this case, it hadn't. I mean, ultimately, they fired the contractor, after months and months and months and months, but still hadn't corrected the problem. So I don't think it's a question of can the people, in the water and sewer department do their job. I personally know a lot of them and know that they're good people and capable, but they have to have the tools and equipment and, the guidance and leadership to do what they're supposed to do.
Former Mayor Keith Hightower, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.